What up? What up?
It's the Wednesday wrap-up show. Kind of. Well, no, not really.
It's still wrap up.
It's a wrap-up. But it's a wrap-up of a different breed. What's up, y'all? Welcome, Black Comic Lords, to the Wednesday wrap-up show, where our weekly wrap-up show of everything that's dope that's happened over the past week. It's New Comic Book Day, but today we have a little something different for you. We're going to recap the original Art Expo that took place this past weekend on January 24th through the 26th here in Orlando, Florida. The OAX. This is the second annual OAX. The first one was last year. Phil and Mr. Black Lion himself, Otis Artberry, and myself attended last year. We came back again this year. Angel popped in, did her thing, ruled the world, got some dope art, and we're here to talk to you about it. What's up, fam? How's everybody doing in this panel?
What's good? We're here, man. We are. I think we kind of threw up this impromptu session since everybody here was present at OAX.
Very
like, let's talk about it. For me, this was my second time going. It was their second time having, and Otis is the one who kind of who put me deep with OAX, the original Art Expo, and I'm very appreciative of Brother Otis for giving me a heads up before the John even happened. But for those who don't know, that the original Art Expo is a gathering of collectors and dealers, artists, fans who love the culture of original artwork and comic culture in general, but the focus is on original artwork. Shout out to Kazra and Bill from Comic Art Fans, who are the ones, and their whole staff, who put together such an amazing show this weekend. It literally topped last year. But this year I was invited to come and bring collections in black to the do a gallery at the original Art Expo, which was super dope. Last year Kazra had saw a video that I put up for me being there. And from there, we chopped it up. He came to Pittsburgh to come check out my piece. And next thing you know, I'm there. And, but it was a collective effort. It was me, Kazra, my man Khalil. We went and we're the ones we put the whole piece together. We were co-curators in this particular event. And it was just amazing.
Otis, your impressions.
You're
the one who introduced
dope.
This.
Yeah. It was something that I really wanted others to check it out. I have always been a fan of original artwork. Anybody who knows me in this community, I've been rocking with that from day one. And when this this event was even talked about, I was like, yeah, this is gonna be dope, man. And just being in that room, with those creators and all of that stuff, it's that art. It was just awesome. It was awesome. Just like you guys said earlier, it did outdo last year. It was way more people. The vibe was incredible. Like, people liked what was going on. Last year was like the first year, so like with any first year hiccups or trying to get it together. And even last year, I thought they had it together, but like this year,
sure.
man, you know what I'm saying? This year, the galleries, the people, the artists, the conversations, the artwork, like it was it was what it was supposed to be. Seriously, shout out to Kazra, Bill, DeTulio, my man Matt DeTulio, DeTulio Art Collective. You know what I'm saying? Like their whole staff, Bill's family, everybody. Like even the cats who had like the card exhibits and the other galleries that were there, the other special galleries that were there. It was just such a well put together event. amazing. And I highly suggest people go next year. If you missed it this year, and after you see what we got and the stories that we have, and you look online and you read things, you're gonna want to go. You're gonna want to go, because that's honestly, that's gonna be the destination. That's gonna be the destination. Seriously.
Angel, this is your first year going. First tell me, what did you expect, and then let us know what you actually saw.
So I didn't have any expectations. Whenever there's something new that has to do with comic books, collecting, and art, I want to be very open. I want to be able to enjoy the whole experience without looking to pick at anything. So my eyes were open, because for a first time in a very long time, I was learning. Like, I've been collecting over 30 years. I have gifted original artwork that's I don't even care about what the value is, because they're more important to me because of the gift that was given than who did what and what it represented. So seeing original pages from tables from the 40s and 50s, and you can learn the timeline of comic books, whatever your favorite from childhood, the nostalgia, the energy in the room was amazing. Now, from a woman's perspective, a lot of times when it's a male-dominated space, you can get pushed away, ignored. There was almost none of that. There was one vendor that snubbed me, and I don't care to know that person's name, but all the vendors except one were very kind, very accommodating. They made sure to ask, hey, do you collect? And whatever your approach or experiences, they meet you at your level, and they guide you. I got history stories. It was just phenomenal. So I encourage all collectors, not just guys, women, children. It was beautifully put together. Absolutely beautiful. I loved it. Absolutely in love with it.
You know, one of the things that also made this special, you know, last year the OAX took place in basically one room at this hotel, at this convention center at the hotel. And they expanded to several other rooms. And by doing so, they expanded into other types of collecting. It wasn't just original art. They had original art for cards. Like if you're into Magic the Gathering, or there was a dedication to Greg Hildebrandt, who recently passed, who was famous for the artwork he did on Marvel Masterworks. They're expanding into animation art. It truly was an amazing experience. Let me play for you a little introduction of just walking in and seeing what that experience is like. Give me 1 second. Comic Lords, about to enter Original Art Expo, OAX, here in Orlando, Florida. Let's check it out. This is amazing. An entire exposition / con geared just for artists and collectors of artwork, original comic book artwork. And who do we have? Big Phil and the legend.
There he is.
Denys Cowan.
Sir,
how you doing, brother?
There he is. Oh my God, I feel like I'm meeting a celebrity. I've seen you on YouTube.
I've seen you all over my entire life.
I've seen that show you doing everything. I think we have something.
You have two things for me.
Oh yeah. When you get a chance, I would love to film you talking about collecting black blah 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 back in the gallery. Or we can even do like a walk around or whatever. However you want to do it. And I know your boss says he wants me to talk when I'm talking. Are you about to pull his pieces out? Oh, well, you know what? Let me get you pulling his pieces out. I don't want to say that like that every day. What?
Yeah, I figured they would. I have a steel cover that.
You know what?
Oversized. I have my suitcase.
So this is the final issue of the Silver Surfer run, so it's a pretty good one. No price.
Oh wow.
This is the one I was literally finishing when we were on that podcast. I said, I just finished your shit. You're like, really? Yeah.
That's amazing.
And you got a hardware also, right?
Yeah. Do you know why I asked for these two pictures?
Nope.
All right. So, first of all, hardware, when you guys did Milestone, hardware was my guy. Hardware's my guy. And when that book came out, I brought you down to my college to talk about multiculturalism in comics. Got to hang out that weekend, took you to a local comic shop. And at the time, I was not a Black Panther collector. And you said, well, check this out. Showed me your book from Black Panther. That was my first set, was your run. A few years later, Priest run comes out, issue number 1, hooked for life. Hooked for life. He's my favorite character, has been ever since that day. But you started me on the journey of collecting Black characters specifically and intentionally, and Black creators intentionally
So much
with
fun,
Milestone, and that's why I do what I do now. So thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. This is an honor. This is an honor. Oh, wow. I am. I mean,
Yes, sir.
to give you an idea. I mean, I had gone online and pre-ordered some commissions with Denys Cowan. This is an event. It's just that as you saw me walk up to him and just talk to him, that's OAX. It's not like when you go to San Diego Comic-Con or New York Comic-Con or MegaCon where there's a line going all the way out the door and there's no room to walk around. What you saw there is what the experience is like. You can talk to these creators. You can share stories with these creators, shake their hand, get artwork from them. And there's different levels. You can get a high-end commission. You can get original art of pages that they did. I have some pictures of stuff that Denys Cowan just did in books that we've all just collected. And he has the original art there. I couldn't afford it, but it was there. It's the most personal experience for fans of comic book art. And I think for the creators themselves, the creators dig having that type of an environment where it's not a bunch of anime and manga and gamers and cosplayers. Not that there's anything wrong with all that, but it's less spectacle and more fandom and appreciation of the art and the genre. It's a much more concentrated and intentional space.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Keep going, Paul. My bad.
No, please. I mean, you had a very. I was about to get into the exhibit that you had. Kazra Gabani, one of the OAX CEOs, owners, reached out to you. Why don't you talk about that?
Well, it's I briefly mentioned before. So when I went there last year, I kind of went there on a whim. I was going there for that, but I had planned on being there both days or all 3 days. But only end up being there for one. I didn't even stay, the whole time, because we were in Miami the night before for something. But it's, when I went there the first time, it was just sensory overload. Like when you go in there for the first time, if you are a collector, you get in there and you just see all this original art, and it's everything from horror comics, from Golden Age, pre-code horror, to DC, Marvel, the Independents. There's commissions. Like, your favorite comic book pages exist in that space, and you could go pick up, or at the very least go look and just appreciate the art. And there's dealers with tables with just art over it, where it's portfolios or things of that nature. And it's also something that you have to actually experience to understand it. Like, it's one of those things we could talk about it, we could show videos all day, but you have to be in the building. And I was blessed to actually have a gallery this year, and once again, I can't thank Brother Kazra enough, for reaching out and saying, man, would you like to do something with us this year? And, of course, the answer was yes. And, for those who know, I had a very successful exhibit at the August Wilson Center. And I literally took down all of my stuff, all of my stuff in all 3 rooms, 2 floors at August Wilson Center. And that next weekend, a couple of days later, I was on a plane going to Orlando. And just so y'all know, you can't see it, but next to me, I just have boxes of the artwork that I've taken down from my exhibit. They're still packed away because I haven't gotten a chance to go in there. And take care of that stuff. But the thing that's also super dope about this is that when we were going to do Collections in Black at OAX, it was a collective effort. It was me, my guy Khalil. Shout out to my big guy Khalil, man. Khalil's my guy. We've met in different cities. Me, Khalil, and Kazra were able to get art, and I'm talking the best in Black comic original art.
Can I show something on Khalil on that point, and just so they know who you're talking about?
For sure, brother Khalil.
Check this out.
1 2 1 2. Hey, this is Big Phil, Collection in Black. We're happy to be here at OAX 2025. Last year,
Paul, can you pause that for a second so I can set that up right? Can you pause that for a second, Paul?
What a difference a year makes.
Paul can't hear.
Yeah.
So what we're doing right here, though, you can see me and Khalil we put all the stuff in frames. Shout out to my daughter, because my daughter put up the entire Sanford Greene piece. We'll get into that. But at this point, we have already put everything in frames, and we're getting ready to set these pieces up. And when I say we got some of the illest pieces on the planet, I'm not sure what all you're going to show in this particular clip, but I just want people to know, like, this was on Friday, and I was there on Thursday getting things together, but this was on Friday when we were sitting there trying to get some of these pieces up on the on display. So let's I just wanted to set that up so they know exactly what we're doing right here.
We're getting the Black Panther pieces together. But Kilo, if you could take a second, my brother, can you let's show them one piece while we're getting this together?
Yeah.
Just one in particular. You want to do the Robbie Robertson?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Let's do the Robbie Robertson. He's gonna do the Robbie Robertson piece. I'm gonna hand this brother the mic as he meticulously puts this up. And that's not meticulously, but we're gonna make it work anyway.
Yes.
Go ahead, brother. Take it away.
All right, let's walk over here. So as we know, this is Collections in Black. And so in the spirit of the gallery here, there's great visuals in terms of pure art, but we have some history here too. So this is a page from Amazing Spider-Man number 51 by the great John Romita. Right, so no Spidey here, but why do we have it here? So great Kingpin and all that. But if you look here, this is the first time that we see Robbie Robertson, right? With J. Jonah Jameson here. And you can see, ironically, there's whiteout here with a correction. So he was redrawn to be a black character. And if you, I'm going to turn this sideways. And if you see the note here to Stan, I believe it's Goldberg, the colorist at the time, it says Negro to appear later books. Make sure and let the colorist know that this character should be colored a little differently than the others. But yes, historical piece here in terms of the character, its importance, and its contribution to the gallery here. Yes.
Collections in Black.
Collections in Black. Thanks.
So that particular piece right there is super important. You know, Robbie Robertson, at first he was, you know, Ramita drew him as a white man. And then he was later instructed to be turned into a black character. Now, the thing about that is that we secured that piece months ago. And that was just a piece that we had tucked in. And for you know, some of you younger guys may not understand the importance of that or who Robbie Robertson is, but it just shows that they were trying to diversify, you know, some of the characters at that particular point. And that was a piece that all three of us, me, Kazra, and Khalil, agreed that needed to be in the exhibit. John Romita, early Spider-Man, first Robbie Robertson, like that's huge. In the fact that there's a note to change him to being a black character. John Romita actually on that page, he had to white out his face and he drew the black features on him. So that's just, you know, some of the magic of some of the pieces that we had. We got the Jungle Action KKK pages. You know, shout out to Mike Berkey for giving us that piece. There's so much, and I don't want to go through all of it because I know some of these pictures, things will come up, and I kind of feel like today we should just kind of talk about our experience and you know let it go from there, you know. But I will say though, you know, what the highlight for me, in all honesty, was just, you know, there was a moment where I have a video coming out soon that's going to have, I apologize, I didn't give you all this because this is coming out, my particular video that's coming out. But there's a moment where me, Kazra, and Khalil, we open up and we see the Jungle Action pages for the first time live. Shout out to my guy, Sean Clark, for allowing us to get those pages. And to see the Black Panther KKK images just in your face like that, it's an unreal experience. You know, those were books that when I was younger, I would just literally stare at those pages, like seriously stare at those pages. And my daughter was there. My daughter was helping us out that weekend, and she made a statement to me about how dope this moment was. And I was like, what are you talking about? She was like, for her to see my reaction of me getting something that I never thought I would be able to have in my hands as a kid. And for her to be, you know, she's 17, but for her to actually understand that moment and to be able to talk about it like that, you know, it just means a lot because it was an emotional moment. Like it literally was. Like when I opened it up and I looked at it, I was like, damn, this is incredible. You know what I mean? And it's incredible. And it's in my shit, excuse my language. Like I have this right now. I got a whooping before going in my dad's box for that. Like it was all worth it. So, you know, I'm a step off and let somebody else talk because I'll talk all day.
Word.
All right.
But if y'all don't want to say nothing, I'll come right on back because we ain't gonna do no dead air. I don't know what the hell going on with y'all. We keep this going. Shoot.
Well, let me play another piece. The other aspect of this that made this a dope experience was interacting with these creators, these Black creators that oftentimes don't get nearly as much shine or credit for their contributions to comic book culture. And there were a lot of artists there, but there were 3 artists that in particular that are legends. We already saw Denys Cowan. Also there was Sanford Greene. Also there was Brian Steelfreeze, and
you about to show that? You about to show the video with them with thinking them real quick?
a little bit of it, not the long. It was
Come on,
long.
man, you got to save a little bit that for the end, baby. What we doing here now? Go on, come on. Eat these gummy bears while we do this.
What type of gummy bears? All right, no wonder you're so. All right, so
Haribo.
Sure, that's what it is.
Behind it, remember that? Tell them, like, explain what you did, because that's one of the most brilliant covers I've ever seen. And I to this day I look at it, I'm like, how did he do that? Explain what you did when you made that cover.
The crazy thing about that cover is like, and I got to give it to the editor, Will Maw. I called him up and I said, I have an idea for this cover, but the idea means I can't do a sketch. I can only give you the finished piece. And he was just like, all right. It's just like, all right, I trust you. I'll just look for it. And I'm like, all right, cool. He gave me the approval. But there's like an algorithm called the traveling salesperson's algorithm.
Let me just pause it right here. I want you to look at the art that's on the walls behind us in this shot. Phil had mentioned, some original jungle action pieces. This is original artwork by Billy Grant. Standing by what Brian Steelfreeze is standing in front of is an original pencil full page of art of Black Panther by Jack Kirby himself. All pencils. You can literally see the man's strokes, pencil strokes on a piece of paper, no inks whatsoever.
And the page next to that was a page donated to us from the Jack Kirby Museum. I want to make sure we give them a shout out because they didn't have to do that. And there's an actual page from Black Panther. So you have in that one section, literally you have Kirby, Graham, Claude Jansen, and I want to say at the end we had the that classic J. Scott Campbell piece. So it's just really important pieces in there.
Yeah. And you'll see here in this conversation with Brian Steelfreeze, his process. Steelfreeze did volume, I think it was 6 of Black Panther with Ta-Nehisi Coates. It was that run that preceded the Black Panther movie. The things that he and Ta-Nehisi Coates put together in that run were directly in the movie. There were changes made to the character, wakanda, his costume, etc., that Steelfreeze came up with and were directly placed in the film. And in this video, he kind of talks about the process of one of the things that was his contribution. And I don't even know if he got a credit for it, but.
And what it does is it plots
Right now, he's talking about one of the most famous covers he ever did in that run and how he made it.
Shortest distance between multiple points. So if a salesperson had to hit a bunch of stores, in sort of the Arizona area, what you do is you plot in the stores, and this algorithm shows you the quickest route to get to all of them. Yeah. So it's just something that's been around for forever. But I looked at the graphs, and when I look at these graphs, they have kind of a weird, almost African pattern to them.
Okay.
But one of the things is the path never crosses itself, so it forms a maze to a certain extent. And Ta-Nehisi wrote this story of Shuri trying to make it out, of the world that she was trapped in. And I figured this is perfect, because it's a maze that she has to traverse.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she's like trying to get from point A to point B. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, well, this, the African pattern, the maze, this thing all comes together. So I did this illustration of Shuri, but I did it with just dots, and I just did the whole drawing, even the gradient and the background with just dots. You know, and then I scanned those dots and turned those dots into an SVG file. And then from turning it into an SVG file, I basically took all those dots and put it into the traveling salesperson algorithm and said, starting with this dot, find the shortest point to this dot. And the algorithm just kind of just goes from dot to dot to dot. And so
no one knows the story. Nobody knows the story of how that cover was made.
So it basically just makes this like super complex.
I can
plot,
picture it.
you know, where it goes from one dot to the next dot until the whole thing is like completely finished.
And that's
and that's what created the line work for that cover. Wow. And I passed that on to Laura, who colored it, and done. You know, so it was great. And
when we talk about brilliance and we talk about goats, these aren't just words. This man invented his own style, his own process to create a cover using science. I mean, nobody's doing that, man. These guys are brilliant.
And I think it's stuff like that that only comes from Wakanda. You know, it's stuff like that that only comes from diving deep into stuff. And that's one of the reasons why I don't do a lot of books or anything like that. It's like as a kid reading comics, this stuff was almost real for me. You know, I mean, I took this stuff like seriously, and and even when I'm reading comics today, if it's not believable, I'm out. You know, I'm out in a second. So the thing that I enjoy is making it real. You know, either making it real in an illustration or making the story feel real. So even though you're reading fantasy, you know, I want my fantasy to be backed up by facts, and not only that, but hopefully it'll educate people a little bit if they start digging into it. Yeah, you know, if they
shout out to Uko Smith, who was also at OAX.
See these characters in these costumes in my comic book, and they see something similar in National Geographic or whatever, well, maybe they'll learn a little bit about that culture. Yeah. So that's a lot of times what happened to me. I mean, John Byrne had me going to the encyclopedia on a regular basis, right? With the Fantastic Four and his stuff, because him and Chris Claremont on the X-Men, but John writing the Fantastic Four, because they were so serious about the technology that they were using and the stories that they were telling. It's just like, oh, okay, wow, I'm learning about quantum physics reading this comic book. You know,
for me, it was clean tech. Right. So you have a lot of this imagery with nature. Intertwined with technology in a way I hadn't seen. So what is this like in real? What is this like in real life? Does it exist? Because oftentimes I consider them over here when they don't need to be. This is nature, this is tech, and this is you know what I mean? So
that was the thing that that got me like real excited when there's a couple of guys at Texas A&M and at MIT that I was talking to about biocomputational systems, you know, which is basically a faster way to get to quantum computers. So with Wakanda, because their technology is not based on mathematics, but actually based on growth systems. It's based on nature. Wakandans got to the quantum computer faster than the Western world, you know, got to the quantum computer. So that's why Wakanda is so far ahead of everything else. You know? And it's absolutely you know, like my whole thing is when the you know, sort of comet hit, Wakandans were there, you know, and the comet hit, but it absorbed its own impact. So it didn't, you know, it would have been like, you know, sort of civilization ending event, but because it absorbed all the impact of its crash, the people that were there to see it were the first Wakandans, you know, and everything developed from there, you know, so all of their clean tech, clean energy, all of that stuff, you know, just developed from there. So, wow.
Goat talk.
He's sitting there talking about when the comet hit, and then there was the first Wakandans. That's the original opening credits to the Black Panther film.
Mm-hmm.
This guy he set up much of what you saw in that film, and you saw the thoughtfulness that he put into his work. He didn't just take out a pad and a paper and a pencil and just start drawing. He did research. He talked to scientists at MIT to come up with ideas to create that Wakanda that you saw on screen. It started in a comic book that came out of his mind and his imagination and his ingenuity to research what an Afrofuturist society would look like. That's dedication, and it's brilliance. Hence why he's a GOAT.
Definitely a GOAT. I know we could talk about Steelfreeze all night, because I know I got about 3 more things I want to talk about Steelfreeze, but I want to, if we can, I want to. Some people don't know that, you know, Otis is a kind of a big deal at OAX. You know, in my opinion, you know, he's there with, you know, if you go to some of the premier artists that are there, you got Simone DeMeo, Simone Bianchi. You know, he works directly with these cats. You know, and their commissions were some of the fastest selling commissions that sold. The pre-commissions that sold out, and they have some of the dopest art. You know, shout out to his homie Matt, who is like, I'm gonna say the word wrong. It was like their agent manager or their handler or whatever, but you know, representative. But you'll go there, you'll see Otis. Otis is always in the mix, and you know, Otis, if you give us a little bit of your journey into, you know, with you working with them guys behind the tables and having that insight, some of that Black Lion.
Okay, all right. Shout out to my man Matt DiTilio. He's my bro, my brother. We've been rocking for a very, very long time. Simone DeMeo, Simone Bianchi, 2 of the finest gentlemen I've ever met. Kind, considerate, thoughtful. I was fortunate enough to develop a relationship with Simone Bianchi many years ago. And we've been, you know, cool ever since. I buy artwork, email, corresponding with his sister Gloria, who also is his representative back home, and going to the cons, having conversations, meeting up with him, developing relationships, and that's really what a lot of this is about. It's about relationships. Funny, quick story. When I met him in 2017, because I met him in 2015 for the first time. But the second time, I pulled up, and I'm a sculptor. I make designer toys, and I use clay and 3D printing and things like that. And I had did a sculpture of a character that he created, Romulus, who is someone who is from Wolverine's past, has been controlling him his entire life. One of the dopest villains ever made, in my opinion. The greatest character design, my opinion. So I wanted a commission of Romulus, and Romulus was created by Simone and Jeff Loeb. And I get this commission, and I come up to the table, and there's a line. Okay, like Simone, if you were there, you saw that line for that raffle. Well, Phil, you didn't see that line for the raffle, but anyway, that's a whole nother story. The line for the let me finish. The line for the raffle and for his signatures, he always has a line. There's always a line. And I remember walking up with my wife, and he's signing. He looks up, and he sees me. He stops signing, gets up, walks around the table, and then just grabs me. And that was it was awesome because there's a backstory to why I was gravitated to his art. Some of you know it, some of you heard it. Um and so when that was our first time seeing each other since that event, let's put it like that. And he hugged me, and like it was wild because these artists are people. These artists are people. And they put their heart and their soul into what it is that they do. They're giving you a piece of them. Every single pencil stroke is a piece of them. And they're giving that to the world. They're giving you a piece of them. So I've always been an advocate, loved original artwork. And that's the reason why I stand on the mountaintop and scream about these creators and what they do and how you have to respect them and how you have to understand that they are giving you a piece of them each and every time you read a book, each and every time you see a picture online and you say, oh, that's dope. That came from here, here, and here. Sorry, went this way with it. My bad. I get emotional. I get emotional. Y'all know me. Y'all don't have you. If you've been around long enough, you know I sometimes get like that. And it's out of the love. Honestly, the love for this. Like these images literally saved my life. Okay? Literally saved my life. A Simone Bianchi cover stopped me from jumping over Niagara Falls. Like seriously. Okay? I love this stuff. And I love them. And they love me. We developed a relationship over the years, from buying commissions, just sitting down, having conversations. And when here's the other part. When he came around and he hugged me, after he got done signing, he told somebody, go get him a chair. Go get him a chair. I was like, sit back here? Oh, yeah. Sat behind the table. Now, a lot of you have been to Comic-Cons before, okay? A lot of you have been to Comic-Cons and you've been in those aisleways, shoulder to shoulder and stuff. Getting to be on the other side of the table is just beautiful. Not just getting away from the crowd, but you're on that side. There's 1,000 people over there. There's only 2 on this side. It's space. And for him to allow me to be in his space was all love, relationships. When I'm behind the table and I'm helping them out, that's special to me. I'm special because they're letting me do this. Now they'll say to you, because they're dope like that, they'll say, no, it's nothing. Otis, you're welcome. This is you. What do you mean, thank you? What do you mean, thank you? Because I can't see myself there. Like 20 years ago, I couldn't see myself on the other side of the table. And for them to allow me to be on the other side of the table with them, that's awesome. Do you realize that I get to watch my favorite artist paint for 2 days straight? 2 days straight. I get lessons from a master painter, master artist. Simone's style is a gritty, beautiful, dark blend of comic book art and fine art. It's where the two meet. where you see the statues, like the statues that are around the world, and you combine that with comic style drawing. Some of his dopest covers and illustrations that he's done, he has this thing where he replicates a famous statue, but he uses superheroes or villains. You know what I'm saying? I think he did it for the death of Miss Marvel. He did one with Scarlet Witch holding Quicksilver, and it's the statue of, oh my goodness, you know what I'm talking about if you saw it. The point I'm trying to make is like his artwork is different. It's just different, and it makes me feel something. And that's the important part to me. When I look at something, there's a difference between looking at something and saying, wow, that's fire. Then looking at something and not saying nothing at all because you don't have to. Like it like reverberates in your chest. Like you feel it. Like the conversation we were having with Brian Steelfreeze. You felt that conversation. You didn't have to say nothing. You felt that conversation. Me and Kazra, we spoke about it. It was a vibration, man. It was something. And that's what I'm talking about when it comes to being around these creators. When I go to Comic-Cons, that's my mission. I want to meet the creators. I want to talk to them. I want to hear their stories. What made you do this?
Right.
Why'd you do this? I'm a collector of prelim roughs and preliminary sketches. And for those of you who don't know what those are like kind of like the thumbnails that like a storyboard for movies, which actually is comic book art as well. And we can get into that later. But I collect like the first drafts of things, because in my mind, this was the first thought of that artist. And then when you see what they sketched out as opposed to the finished product, and you see the changes, you get a chance to see their process. If you take a minute and don't look at it and it's like scribbles on a paper, no, that's 3 different headshots. He faced the head that way, and forward. Oh yeah, he has 6 arms. Well, no, he has him in a fighting position, in this position. You get to see the process. If you study it enough, you get to see the process. Now, those are all lessons. I'm an artist. All right? I'm an artist first, above anything and everything. I've been an artist all my life. I used to draw on the paper bags. The paper bags, my parents, no sketchbooks and things like that, because couldn't afford them. And it's, you either buy a sketchbook or you get noodles for the night, you know what I'm saying, or food. So what I did was I would save the paper bags from the groceries, and I would cut them into paper and cut them into pages. And I would go to school and I would staple them together or poke holes and use string. I was making my own sketchbooks at like 4 or 5. You know what I'm saying? I've been an artist forever. So when I see this stuff, when I go to these conventions, when I meet these creators and I talk to them and I hear their stories, why did you do that? And what was your thought process here? And when you hear stuff like, Angel, you were there and we talked to Denys Cowan, and I was talking about that piece that I got signed. That story behind that was incredible.
Yep, that's right.
But going back to Bianchi, DeMio, and DiTilio, like being behind that table is it's dope to me, because I'm getting a chance to be around something that I've always wanted to be. I get a chance to have conversations and not exactly pick a brain, but just get to know why. Why did you do it that way? Why did you do it that way? How did you mix those 2 colors? If you look at Simone Bianchi's pieces, you look at the color palette that he does. I have pictures. I'm one of my one of my jobs, and when I say jobs, I volunteer to do this because I've been doing it all along. I take pictures of his process and how he paints. I got dope pictures of just like his palette. I got pictures of him while he's painting, while he's combining things, I'm not gonna say he makes mistakes when he does something, because I don't think he just floats. And sometimes you'll look and you'll say, why is he doing it like that? And 15 minutes later, you're like, oh, that's why he did it like that. Now I need to know how he got from there to there. And there's my little mental note. We go out to dinner, we're going to talk about that. That's what's special. That's what's special. You know what I'm saying? It's relationships. I mean, he came to visit. He came to visit my man Matt, and he hung out. Like, I went fishing with him, his wife, and his kids. You know what I'm saying? Like his son calls me the bro Otis. You know, it's relationships, man. That's what it is. And I am so thankful that I was able to develop a relationship with him, with his family, and be able to rock with him and help out whenever I can. And also, side note, while I'm there, you know what I'm saying? And someone has a question about a Bianchi cover, or what is this published page from? My man Matt goes just like this, talk to Otis. And I'm like, yeah, that was it, Wolverine number 310. That was the first appearance of Remus, blah, blah, blah. And I just run it off because I know his stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that's it. It's special. I know I just ran on for about 20 minutes. My bad. But I get very excited when it comes to this stuff. I get very excited about this. Artwork has always been my life. It is the only thing that has never disappointed me. Next to my grandmother, Nana, my Nana. Okay? You know what I'm saying? So that's why I love it so much. Now I'm gonna be quiet and let y'all talk.
That is why I wanted to make sure. And I think that people have to understand that, you know, what if you didn't get anything else out of this conversation, is that you have to understand the importance of relationships. If nothing else, whenever you see me on Black Comic Lords, I always talk about the importance of relationships, the importance of how you deal, how you talk to different individuals. And, you know, we all get these alley-oops. Me and Paul have linked up in different. Me and Paul. Me and Otis have linked up in so many cities now. It's crazy. You know, we are family. We've been to each other's cribs. I mean, I love this brother. You know what I'm saying? And we share this commonality. And you know, if you see us in public, y'all be like, man, these brothers sitting there arguing and fighting. Like, no, man, that's just love. That's just what we do, man. We're gonna do that. We're gonna be loud. It's gonna be love. We're gonna hug each other. But if you say something crazy about Otis, man, you might get fucked up. And excuse my language, but that's just real shit when it comes to me. I don't do that when it comes to Otis. I can say something crazy about Otis, you know what I mean? But you can't. Real shit. Excuse me. Let me get back to this. So
right, yes, that right there. Yep, that's it. That right there. That was after a 40-minute conversation. We were going at it.
They were arguing back and forth. I'm looking at Otis's wife. She's looking at me. We're looking at Phil's daughter. There, she's like, everybody's shaking their head like, what the hell's going on? Why are these guys? And they're saying the same thing. It'd be like, and they were arguing literally about complimenting each other. You the man. No, you the man. No, I'm mad at you because you're the man. No. Stop saying I'm the man when you're the man. They spent 40 minutes arguing about complimenting each other.
It's real. That's what it's about, man. You know, but it's the thing about, you know, like everybody in this spot. I mean, me and Casra was on here. Casra came up to Pittsburgh, you know, and we kicked it when he came up, you know. Me and Paul, we've linked up on multiple occasions, you know. I mean, this is what it's all about. In the Collections in Black gallery, the whole thing in OX was dope. And I know we're focusing on this, But I'm just saying the whole thing is an experience. You will get whatever it is that you want to get out of the experience when you get there. If you're casual and you just want to come and see some stuff, you can. If you want to spend thousands, 10,000s, hundreds of thousands of dollars, you can spend that. There was $1 million Frazetta piece feet away from us. 3 million, my bad. Let me get the number. Four, my bad. $4 million Frazetta piece. I mean, within whatever. It's a piece that it's another. He's he's my Mount Rushmore of artists. You know, like this is OAX is real. You know, it's real. But you can also come and trade your art, show your people your art. There's so much. There's the auction. There's this. Like I don't want to cover. We're not gonna be able to cover everything. But when we're talking about just our galleries and our relationships with each other. But right now we have Brother Casper, the CEO of Comic Art Fans, who just put a very good app. If you have your go to the App Store, make sure you download the Comic Art Fans app. It's a good app. You can sit on there. You can just bird watch, and you can just sit back and you can see art, look up art you want. And I'm gonna say this too, and I'm gonna be quiet and let Casper talk. This is a very important show tonight. Not just because I'm on it and I look good and I got a fresh haircut. It is a very important show because just look at who's all on the screen. And think about this. At OAX, we had a gallery dedicated to culturally relevant art. Literally. We had the oldest known page of Black Panther, possibly the oldest known page of Black Panther art. That's not a small feat. I don't give a damn what y'all do, what y'all got in y'all collections, whoever, et cetera, we had possibly the oldest known piece of Black Panther art in the gallery. I mean, we could go on and on about these particular pieces. And I just need, and for us to know, I'm not going to say no corny, like we belong in these spaces. I'm not one of them dudes. I don't do that shit. Either you coming or you not. Either you coming or you not. And that's how I look at it, man. We ain't got to do no whole dissertation and TED talk about that. Either you in the building or you not. And don't get it wrong. Sometimes we can't do certain things. You know what I mean? But I will say this. There's a lot of collectors that I know who call themselves big time collectors, major collectors, things of that nature, man. This is one of the stops you need to be in. So when the third iteration comes around, put this on your calendar. Come through. You know, some of y'all got money that's out of control. Come on, spend some of that bread. Get those Luke Cage pages. There's some Matt Baker stuff there for the big ballers. You know, I want to be there one day, but you can also pick up some dope pieces for just a couple, you know, for a couple dollars. Look at that. Fantastic Four number 53. When Casper gets on, Casper, can you talk about the legend of the fact that there aren't any pages of Fantastic Four 52 that are known publicly at this particular point, my brother?
Yeah, sure. Hi, Paul.
What's up, Casper?
Hi, Angel. Good to see you.
Hi, Casper.
Derek, nice to see you. We've never met, but hello. And
what's up?
Otis, I was tired and on my deathbed, and you resurrected me and made me come to the other side of the table and join the talk.
My man.
Where have you people been all my life? Oh, Phil. I guess I should say hi. Yeah.
Oh.
we gotta continue what happened at OAX. Fantastic Four 53, second appearance of Black Panther. That page was donated by Bashara Malouf, who's an art dealer, lifelong art collector, and a board member, trustee of the Kirby Museum and Research Center. Big Phil, I don't know if I told you that Bashara is actually one of the people that runs the Kirby Museum. He has maybe the greatest Kirby art collection in the world. The Kirby Estate and Museum just put on over the summer in Los Angeles at the Corey Helford Gallery one of the most beautiful exhibits of comic art that you've ever seen. It was called Kirby Vision. If you go on YouTube and you look up Kirby Vision, you will be blown away. And at least I'm going to make up a number that's probably underselling it, but probably 30 of the 80 beautiful Kirby pages in that exhibit were provided by Bashara.
Wow.
I don't think that's his only 53 page, Big Phil. Okay. So he knows where the bodies are buried. He knows the story. He knows enough that he could sell information and make more money than the 6 people on the screen combined. I'll put it that way. So he knows that it's not just the question of whether the 52 pages are out there. There has never been a whiff. There's never been a scent. There's never been a traceable, pursuable rumor of the 52 pages, first appearance of Black Panther pages being out there by people who would know, by people that would spend money to get a private investigator to find out, just to see whether they should spend their time to pursue it. So that information is real. Of course, I'm a weird guy, so that just makes me think, what are the conditions? What is the reason that a book of that historical significance would just be gone? I don't know, but the romantic in me will just say because it's priceless, and I'll leave it at that. So yeah, we got a 53 page. Half the people at in the OAX show were excited because it was a vintage Kirby page that had all 4 members of the Fantastic Four on it, and they have every right to be excited for that reason. The people on the screen and the people in that room that knew what was going on knew that that was a page to behold. That really was something special.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Phil, I'm a little mad at him because the footage that he got at OAX, particularly of this moment, you know, Otis is the one who always talks about moments, right? How important it is to pause and appreciate the moment. I didn't do that enough at the first OAX. He literally stopped me and said, "Paul, put down your camera and just enjoy the moment."
Yep.
And I did. And he pulled out his camera and captured some moments for me, which I appreciate to this day.
Yep.
But we had this moment at this OAX event that it wasn't something that we planned. It wasn't something that, you know, we scheduled. It just happened.
Right.
Saw Sanford Greene and said, "Hey man, have you seen Phil's exhibit?" He said, "No, I've been wanting to see it. Just take 10 minutes and walk with me." And he walked with me and an Angel, and we were heading out there, and passing Phil, and we all went to the exhibit.
That's Steelfreeze.
Oh, that was Steelfreeze. It was Steelfreeze. I'm sorry. It was
I had to grab
Angel,
Sanford because he was so busy.
Angel called Sanford Greene. So we went with Steelfreeze and we went to the exhibit. And then they just started watching it. It was the first time they saw it. They were looking at it. And he was just amazed. He started talking about it. And then all of a sudden, people just started filtering in and just listening to him. And he was just telling his impressions about art and his career and impact of art on life. And it was just a moment, you know, and that's what OAX gives you. You don't get that at New York Comic Con. You don't get that at San Diego Comic Con.
Right.
You get that at MegaCon. You're not going to have moments like that because this is people being real. This is art is about life, right? It's about your emotions. It's about humanity. It's about who we are as people. And there's something so more visceral when you go to an event like this because it's all about that.
Right.
You know, it's not about the business per se. I mean, there's guys making bread, there's guys selling stuff, what have you, buying stuff. But the reason they're doing it is because of the appreciation of the art. The reason the artists sit there and they talk to you and they share their stories with you and they vibe with you is because of the appreciation of the art. And it's a special event. You know, my hat's off to you, Kazra and Bill, for putting together an event like this, man. You guys deserve all the credit. It's something unique, man.
If I can interject too, Paul, you know, I don't want to, let's not, you know, when we talk about this too, you know, my whole piece, we go brother Khalil, you know,
yeah.
Let's also, we be remiss to act as if these cats aren't making a ton of bread also, because there are people that are coming to buy these particular pieces. This is where you can get these pieces from your particular artist. You can actually do pre-commissions and ask an artist, hey, I would like for you to do this and do that. And there are people who are willing, you know, to pay that money. It's not free. So I you know, I know sometimes we can over romanticize the feeling to a certain degree, but you know, this is also a very dope and very good, necessary, you know, business piece. But it's also a way that we all get together. That's why I said, whatever you want to get out of it, you can get out of it. If you just want to come and buy some stuff and be up, you can do that. But if you want to come, try to meet the artist, get with the people. The magic, a lot of the magic happens after the show's over, when everybody's kicking it in the lobbies and people are bringing out their portfolios and we're talking and that. But that's a totally separate entity that everybody may not be privy to. So with that, I don't want to give this false situation like you're gonna come buy your ticket and then at 9 o'clock you about to come kick it with us at dinner, cause that might not happen. It's almost like keeping it 100. That might not happen.
Well, unless it does happen in this instance where we're kicking it with Oranga.
We are, but everybody in this picture is somebody who had a past or something else. But let me say this too. It's when everybody started coming back into the collections in Black Gallery, it was a moment where it's those type of moments where, you know, I had the two cameras rolling, and it's, once I put this piece together, I think it's going to be the type of thing that is almost a masterclass of history and culture. And I think that's the important piece. It's important.
That's why I said I was mad at you, because I know that you have some really astounding footage that was hoping that you have ready for tonight.
Yeah, but you know, when you cooking, baby, you can't take the shit out the oven too early, man. You gotta make sure it's right, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's me. I'll let them other people post stuff just the day after, and it's dope, and I appreciate it. But you know, I'm in it for the end game, and I think that when it's done, it'll be something that, like, it was like class was in session, and it was so much that was being said. And what was really dope about the conversation was that before that, Denys Cowan came in and he really reiterated, you know, he said everything that Steelfreeze was about to say later, you know, and to me, that's important. And it shows how these particular pieces touch people. For instance, Brother Khalil got that splash page of Killmonger. And the fact that Denys Cowan said, yo, I used to copy this over and over and over and over again. This is how I learned how to draw. I'm paraphrasing here. Steelfreeze comes in and almost says the same exact thing. And the fact that we had that page, and Brother Khalil owns this particular page, but the fact that we were blessed enough to have this page in the gallery, just, you know, it just speaks, you know, it just speaks volumes, in my opinion. So we got Brother Khalil in the building. Khalil, is there anything? Khalil may be in or he may be out. I don't know if he's like on the ground picking up some art.
I'll be right. Yeah, here. I'm coming. This is what you're talking about. Right here. This one.
Talk that shit, Khalil.
Yeah, that's the one you're talking about. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the first solo T'Challa story, but it was also one of the first stories that had this long form storytelling, right? In the Jungle Action series. So it was pieces and it went for months and months and months. So we didn't see much of that before that either. I do have stuff going on. You know, my kids got great reviews. So they had parent teacher conferences. So we took them out to dinner. That was great. But I wanted to jump on for a few minutes because I saw these faces
all these faces I saw at OAX, and I just wanted to say that I was happy to help and support and be a part of the gallery we put together, and that afternoon that was so organic and natural, with Brian coming, then Sanford coming, and people coming in. I mean, Ron Went, right, who contributed some pieces. He happened to show up right as Brian was starting to talk. I mean, it felt good. It felt right. It felt like what we were there to be doing, to have that conversation, to be talking about it now, and to, I feel like, be a jumping off point for some other things. So yeah, it was great. So Kazra, Phil, appreciate being a part of this, and appreciate the opportunity to continue. You know, this is something we'll keep doing.
It's just the beginning. You know, this is just, you know, and I think, you know, there we go, getting busy, man.
Yeah.
There's some heat on that floor now.
Can I say real quick? Can I
Yes,
say
sir.
real quick, and then you go. What I was talking about earlier about relationships and developing relationships. I met Khalil for the first time this weekend. I have to tell you, bro, like that was one of the highlights of the weekend. Having those conversations, because me and you, we kicked it several different times,
We did.
different occasions.
Yeah.
About the Black Panther movie, about Jungle Action, about that particular
One-on-one.
piece, one-on-one, and like, you know, everyone knows I'm a uber super Killmonger fan, and that page right there, like, that was, to see that up close and personal. It was amazing. I mean, it was a beautiful, like, it was something that made me feel. And then me and Khalil had a chance to talk about it and have a conversation, what he liked about it, why, you know, that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's what this whole thing, OAX, the experience, that's what it did. Now, me and Khalil, cool. We talk, I will see him again. I mean, like, I have found another, no disrespect, Paul, and the rest of the cult of Bast, but I have found another super Black Panther fan that I could talk to about stuff, about original art, about the character, his thought process, and the villains, and why like those conversations. We had a conversation in Miller's. Miller's is like it's a restaurant, it's a bar, it's loud in there. I didn't hear nobody but Khalil. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how that conversation was when we were talking. I didn't hear anybody else but him. So I just wanted to say thank you, brother, for your contribution, what you did, your hard work, what you guys put together, and those conversations meant a lot to me, because you shared some things with me, and that you didn't have to. You know me from a can of paint. You know what I'm saying? But you shared those with me, and I truly appreciate that, and I appreciate you, and I am looking forward to, you know, rocking with you in the future, seeing you at other cons, working together, or just having a conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's it.
Yeah. Likewise, Otis. Yeah. Likewise. It's weird, right? And again, I feel like the word of the night for me is organic, because it just kind of happened. I didn't make it a point to seek out Otis and start talking about this, that, and the other. We just happened to be running to each other, and then we kind of went into it. And to your point, it just kind of happened, right? And these are those are the things that just kind of spontaneously happen at events like this that you remember. And there's another one right there. So no, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's a great shot.
Super dope.
Yeah.
Speaking of thanking people, I just want to take a minute. Thank you, Marlon Williams, for the super chat. Appreciate that.
It's in Eclectic Blurred. He's asking what state is LAX, and it was in Orlando, Florida. Kazra, is it going to remain in Orlando, or are you going to move it somewhere?
Yeah, I think so. People have been asking us to do a second one somewhere else, but let's get the first one. Let's get the first one right.
Thank you.
And I think too, people don't. Let me get to the scope of how big this is. I know we're kind of stuck on the collection of Black and artwork. There's a dope auction. You know, we talked about the card art. We talked about the fine art. There was the Magic the Gathering art, I believe. There was the open you know, we breaking open boxes and stuff. Derek keeps throwing up these pictures, man. That's the GOAT, Denys Cowan, looking at some. Can somebody talk about these Luke Cage pages? Cash, you want to talk about the Luke Cage pages we had in there?
Sure, but KG, do you need to go? Do you need to get ice cream for your kids, KG? Are you good to stay on?
I'm good. I'm good for a little while, man. Appreciate that. Thank you for checking, though.
Yeah.
Bashara again came through, and he's a strange man. God bless you, Bashara, but you're a strange man.
He's mad humble too.
He just says out of nowhere, "Oh, I have the 2 best pages from Heroes for Hire #1." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he says, "I have the page where Luke Cage gets his powers, and I have the page where you see him for the first time in costume." And I'm like, what am I supposed to say now? Am I supposed to, have you hear my knees hit the ground asking you for this show? And, very generous of him, seriously generous of him. The funny thing I didn't tell you guys, I don't know if I told you guys, is we were trying to get the cover for Heroes for Hire #1, which is owned by Jim Halpern, the chairman of Heritage Auctions, which is one of the biggest auction houses in the world. And Jim was actually at OAX this year. He made it a point to leave Texas and come to the show, which we were, let's just say it was a compliment. So Bashara is about to hand over these pages to me, and he shows them to Jim Halpern in front of me, and they start negotiating for Jim to buy the pages right in front of me. And Bashara is giving him some goofy numbers that aren't real, and Jim's getting maybe a little impatient because they have some history saying you're not serious about selling them, and they basically tabled it till after the Collections in Black show. So thankfully I was able to get them and hand them over to this gentleman. No surprises on the sizes. They went into frames, but that was pretty crazy to see those 2 pages. And what a weird art team too. That was a strange art team for that issue. Yeah.
And I want to say that so many people were able to were generous enough to allow us to use pages and came through at the right time. Just Denys Cowan looking at some art, and that was his
mouth agape, right? Oh,
that's his reaction to seeing something. Denys Cowan, and to see him being so excited for art, like Brian Steelfreeze, Cowan, and Sanford. And I'm gonna say particularly like the way Brian and Cowan, since they're a little bit older and more seasoned, to see them looking at some of that artwork that they picked up off the stands when they were younger is seeing their faces was important. One of the things that me, Kazra, and Khalil, I remember I said to y'all, I want pieces that when Steelfreeze and them see them, I want them to be like, wow, this is amazing. And I think that we really I think we were able to capture that, And I mean, the proof is in the pudding.
Agreed. And the one thing I'll speak to about OAX too, right? And y'all mentioned it in a way. So we were talking about this corner of OAX tonight here, and there's illustration, there's card, and then there's what some consider, high-end art. I only talk this, expensive, pricey stuff. There are others that focus on sketches and commissions. I honestly love the whole gamut, right? So it's, the whole thing, everything on both ends and in between. And so I think that, I felt this was a celebration of the whole spectrum.
Right.
And so, for me, it's fun. I appreciate, that whole deal. So there's a little something for everybody, I guess is another way of saying it. And I saw Yuko jump in too. So y'all know from a Yuko standpoint, I want his auction piece. I want his. Yeah. So
I think Phil had won something too, right? At the auction.
I ain't win nothing at the auction.
No, that was me. That was me.
You won a raffle, right?
That was me. I won. Oh no! Oh, you talking about the raffle that Phil won?
Don't do that again.
Casper, you were there for that, right?
Yeah, Big Phil didn't win it. Large Phil won.
Oh no! Oh yeah, Large Phil. Large Phil.
Yeah, there was Large
Phil won.
Yeah.
But Large Phil wasn't in the building to accept his
No,
prize.
I looked I didn't see him.
We looked for him. That was a moment. That
We
right there
didn't
was a
go.
moment.
We didn't go going once, going twice. No large
No,
fill. We just said going once, no large fill.
So what happened was I put my name in for a Bianchi original piece. And unfortunately, I was in the back dealing with people who wanted to know about the culture of African Americans and comics. So I was in the back doing I was working.
You know what's funny? When you take those glasses off, you can't see or think straight.
Put them back on.
Let me put my Dharmas back on. Put my Dharmas back on. I can see now. Let me tell you something.
Thank you.
So I come out and I'm thinking Otis is playing. Otis was like, "Where were you at?" Then Matt's like, "Where are you?" I'm like, "What are y'all talking about? We pulled your name." I'm not gonna lie, I was hot, steaming. But you know what? I was in back doing the greater good for the culture. I was back
you were back there talking about the Steelers. Yeah.
Steelers culture.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
It may not have been the best use of time. No.
Listen, man. Let me tell you something. We're a mixed company right now, Casper. So we're gonna try to keep this as civil as possible. Let's not have no OAX conversations for the regular people here.
I appreciate. I'm not in a safe space at the OAX now. We're good. We're good. I'm sorry, Big Phil. I know
it's
that
all right.
I'm going to get a text from Big Phil every 2 weeks saying, "Here's a piece I want. Help me out. Here's a piece I want. I'll help you out. I will help you out."
I don't like you today.
I know.
You know what? I'm done with y'all. I'm taking my talent. I'm gonna make my own BOX, and it's gonna be like box.
I
like
wish you luck. I really do wish you luck. Let me know if I can help. Sponsorship, whatever you need.
I don't want any help for you. As a matter of fact, I'm taking my talent to South Beach, and we're done with this, and it's gonna be on the same day.
You'll end up back in Pittsburgh, just like he did in Cleveland. Yep.
Hey, but at least we went back with the championship. So that's all that counts.
Here's a good comment here. We'll only have time to honor the Black comic art legends like MD Bright that passed away last year. I think that would be a cool thing for next year. Good luck finding MD Bright art. I've looked.
Well, let me say something real quick.
I have.
Go ahead.
I actually have an MD Bright piece from Icon. Yeah.
Hold on for 1 second. So to the electric blurty, whatever. So we had planned on doing something very extensive for MD Bright this year, and it just didn't work. It just didn't work out that way. The one thing you know about me, if I'm on something, I'm gonna make sure we do this right. And we really, really tried to get some really dope MD Bright pieces. Shout out to Oaks. I think even Otis had suggested that we were going to do like some type of MD Bright plaque that we were trying to get to. There was just, when you do these type of things, there's so many moving pieces. So we were trying to get some very good art. Here's the thing. All the dope art that you saw there's so much more that we couldn't get that wasn't on any fault of ours. Things didn't come through, like we wanted to. We really wanted to do we wanted to come with we didn't want to do regular MD Bright. We wanted to do that MD Bright that when you see it, you're like, oh, this is crazy. So the intention was there, so it's not about us taking time to honor the Black comic art legends, because that's all we did was honor Black comic art legends and the culture. So that's, if I sound like I'm taking it personal a little bit, because I am, that's one thing that we do. And I know your intention isn't to be whatever, but just in case anybody else wants to bring in them type of comments in, that's one thing that we do. We're about the culture, and we're about celebrating the culture. We've had many meetings about trying to make sure we represent MD Bright. Do you know how hard it is to get those Billy Graham pages that we received that we don't own? How hard it was to get the boss man from Heritage to bring the Luke Cage pages, and those aren't easy tasks. I don't think anybody else could have done that besides for the three people that you see in this piece who put this together. So, or the 4 or 5, or everybody else. So I just want to let people know we definitely planned on honoring MD Bright, and we plan on honoring everybody. But here's the thing. there will always be somebody that we can't get in the show. And so there will always, you know, there's always a reason for somebody to say, well, what about this person or that person or whatever? And we get that and we understand that. But it is our responsibility to try to cover as much of the bases as we can. I know you didn't. I know you didn't mean any offense by it. That's why I was saying that may not have been your intention, but I just wanted to clear it up just in case anybody else took offense. Somebody else wanted to tag along and wanted to say something negative or turn to a negative statement. I know you didn't mean nothing negative about it, but I just wanted to make sure we was all clear on you know what that is. That's all.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair, Phil. We did talk about Mark Bright and Bob Layton, right? Bob Layton worked in tandem with Mark Bright and inks and pencils on Iron Man in the 80s. So he actually showed up during when we were talking. I got to speak with him for a few minutes. I think it was interesting because, to Phil's point, we were kind of looking for the prime stuff to showcase, especially knowing that, you know, this gentleman had passed away this last year. So I do think, and I mean, I could speak for us, but we will get there and do it the right way. We just don't want to you know what, as far as OAX went, because there were some options, but we needed it to be, you know, legit, top tier. Yeah,
and that's not disrespecting anything. Everything he's done was top tier, but it was just when when we're like, what Billy Graham pieces we want, man. Let's get the Ku Klux Klan pieces. We got them. Jack Kirby pieces we want the earliest Black Panther pieces and some commission. We got them. What Luke Cage pages we want the. So we want to make sure we tried to get the best of the best if we could. So if that makes any sense.
Can I just say one thing about that? I look at it a little bit differently. I think it's okay. I think it's okay to say we failed. I think it's okay to say that we had every intention of honoring MD Bright, and that's okay. That's okay. We fell a little bit short. We did a lot. No reason to describe that. I think it's a lot more interesting when you just say you failed. So you recognize what your intentions are and you decide what to do next. But the bigger picture for me is there's a consistency with MD Bright where he's overlooked. And even the three of us that are proud of how much work we put in and what we didn't come through. And you have to look at that a little bit and go, what is going on here? This is like a cosmic level, allegorical, the world is messing with our brains, God laughs loudest kind of thing. And if you look at it a little bit that way, maybe we can get it over the hump. All that said as well, OAX isn't some answer. It's only a once a year weekend in the Vatican City of Florida. There are a lot of other things that we could be doing. For MD Bright, there's a lot more energy and creativity that can go into how to honor MD Bright. There are other shows, there are other places and other settings, and I am all ears and ready to have that conversation. If it's a 2-hour-long program, if it's something physical in the world that would have meaning, if there's family members that want to be involved, that can be constructed brick to brick until it makes sense. We missed the opportunity this past weekend. We definitely tried.
There we go.
That's real.
And back to Yuko.
Yes, sir.
Let's get back to Yuko, man.
Please.
Can you show that? Can you show that drawing again, man? Khalil, can you show that piece?
Yeah. I was going to buy that prior to the auction.
So let me say, me and Yuko me and Yuko. If you don't know Yuko Smith, man, please, y'all need to go ahead and follow this brother, man. He's a very talented individual. Me and him been talking for the past whatever. Me and him been talking about we're working on something. That little piece, man, I was a little, my feelings was hurt because I thought that was, that was supposed to be mine from another. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Those who know the story know the story. And it was funny, man, because I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. And then Khalil when it came out to whatever the last price was, Khalil gonna be like, gonna put his hand up in the auction and go ahead and get it. So I'm glad you got it, Khalil.
I rewatched the auction today. And KG missed DeTulio putting the gavel, and I heard your voice out on the side make that final bid. and he let your bid in, and you got it.
He
So
did. He did. He better.
Yeah. Let me know when you want. Let me know when you let that go. Don't tell Big Phil. Tell me first.
Oh no, I'm conflicted. I don't know.
And you know what? I didn't mention. We were talking about how the universe came together. So me and Sanford Greene were on the flight together. Coming in, we sat next to each other, and in the video that I got coming up, you'll see we were not on here. Thank you, brother Yuko, for saying I inspired it. I appreciate that, brother. Now me and you good again, man. I'm gonna text you later. But we had beef for about 20 minutes. Me and Sanford were on the plane, and I'm gonna tell y'all something that's really dope. We were literally on the plane like this. I pulled out the portfolio. He wanted to see what people we were bringing. We're on the plane. We're not little guys. We're on the plane. People looking at us like we're crazy. We're pulling out artwork on the plane. We're going through stuff. And it was magical. And I will say this too. Sanford is that guy, man. He showed me some upcoming heat that I can't talk about right now. Oh my Jesus. It's unreal. But to have that moment on the plane and to just sit there and we were sitting there just talking about art, and not like in no weird goofy way, man. It was real shit, man. It was really dope. And he's somebody that I've met him before. Well, he was in my panel in Baltimore, and when I walked in, we kind of like saw each other at the same time, and we start chopping it up. He's like, "Man, what seat you in?" I'm like, "In such and such." We was like, "Oh man, we sitting right next to each other." So we just it was dope.
I think, and Phil, what's cool about Sanford, right, is that he's been working at it a while, right, trying to make this livelihood, a career, and this passion of his into something sustainable, right? And so over the last 7-8 years, he's been grinding, right? And so whether it's Sanford or other artists in this field that put that effort, work, love into it, and you can see some of that bear fruit after so many years. It's just great to see, right? I mean, he's got his creator-owned book with David Walker that's been obviously, I mean, two Eisner Awards. He's done some of the designs for the second Miles movie. They gave him the assignment of working on this Doom one-shot right before Doom's going to be in the MCU. All that stuff. And so I use Sanford as an example, but it's just cool to see, man, because you see these guys again 7, 8, 9 years ago just trying. So when you see these things shake out this way, it's heartening. You know what I mean? It's a good feeling for him, and I'm happy to see where he is.
Yeah, one of the things Eclectic Birdie asked is, you saw some Bitterroot? Yes, we did. Sanford Greene premiered his latest issue for Bitterroot at this exhibit.
That was Bitterroot number. It
was actually number one. Yeah,
number one.
It was number one. Wasn't that number one of his new volume that he has?
No,
it was the first
original number one.
All right, so he had
the entire
all of
book.
the art. He had the entire book for Bitterroot number one.
Shout out to Tristan for hooking that up.
Yeah, my daughter was the one who actually put all the pages. She framed them all up, and she put every piece together, and she actually curated how it looked. I mean, it was she really went to work, and she helped out with that. So that was a good look.
And what was cool about Phil's daughter? Just 1 minute about Phil's daughter. She was there the whole weekend, right, helping out. And I'm sure Phil, sometimes she probably wasn't the most excited about it at times, right? But during that moment with Brian and Sanford, and I talked to her for a minute afterwards, she was like, "Wow!" I feel like she was like, I mean, she got it even more so for the rest of us. And so again, just seeing those moments of individuals and people we know, kind of get that feeling, get that experience that way. It was great. I could just see it in her eyes and her face, like oh, I get it a little more now, And
it's dope that you said that, because before you came on, I gave an example of how I was talking about how she just got it. Like when we first
okay
how we first opened up the art, You know, seeing your face, seeing Otis' face when we first saw the KKK images, and you know, it had to take a breather. Man, it was real.
Yeah. I took out my puffer. I got asthma. I had to take out my puffer. Take a couple of hits, man. It was telling you, it was breathtaking. Pun intended.
Let's show the people what he had.
Yeah.
Lost it again.
Paul said, "Let's show the people where we at," and then went to us. Boy.
Don't tell me there's no sound.
I'm about to get seasick with this camera that he used.
Not all of us have $6,000 cameras from Sony.
You don't need a $6,000 camera to slow down.
Shots fired. I'll just stop saying. We're gonna have too many comments about that, so that's.
But you know, I'm glad that Sanford was, you know, gracious enough to allow us to get all the pages to that. You know, that was a blessing. And you know, we had talked about getting a whole book, and I'm glad that I'm glad that Casper was the one who suggested. He said, "Man, we're gonna get the Sanford Greene, Bitterroot," and you know, that was dope. Casper could be
from page one. Page one is a DPS and is a large jazz scene. I mean, it brings you in right away that way. And there's a few people that looked at it and they were, you know, they know nothing about it. But the common theme I heard oftentimes was there's no page that's still. Like even the quieter moments, you look at the expressions of the folks and you look at how the storytelling moves left, right, down the page. So I don't know, man. It's just, you know, me and my geeky whatever that loves this stuff just loves hearing that from people who, you know, haven't seen it before. Right. And yep.
I'm sorry, my bad.
Go ahead, man.
No, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that as they moved down, they kind of got it. And for some folks, I equated it to storyboarding, right? Those folks that are not necessarily, you know, read comics that often, they kind of got what, you know, understanding what pace, you know, I was talking about pacing and expressions and how you move through a scene. And Otis, you, Phil, me, we actually talked through some of those pages, right? About the decisions that were made. Yep. Yep.
That's what I was just about to say. There were two in particular. The first one that we like kind of broke down was it was like a crow, and you saw like the crow's head, and it was a close-up shot. Then you saw it kind of from further away, but it was this you still see the crow. And the way Sanford did it, it was like it was the bird's eye view. And you followed the crow all the way through the page. And it seemed like it was sweeping. Like you were literally flying, watching what the crow was watching.
It's right there.
Sanford is amazing.
Yeah.
That one? Yeah.
To the left a little bit. Yep.
Yep.
Oh, that's the bird's eye view conversation?
The bird's eye, yes. The bird's eye view. That we were like, look at that, then look at that, then look at that. And it was like he let you know, all right, there's the crow. And then it was kind of like what is that? Game of Thrones when my man wargs into the raven and you get to see what the raven's seeing. That's what that was. And that to me was so dope because it was like Sanford's artwork took you on a ride. And you're standing still, but you're not. You're standing and looking at it, and you're watching it go from here to here. He took you on a ride. You were in that page. You were that crow. You saw what that crow was seeing. And the second thing was the clan members about to hang the guy. We broke that one down too. You see where
right there.
Okay.
Yep.
You see where this man is in fear. He knows he's about to die. His face, he is scared. You see the clan members, and you can see their eyes. They look evil. They look intent. We're gonna do this. Then you get to the next one. You go down and down, and you see, and then something happens where the clan member looks over and sees who's coming for him. Or no,
Yeah.
there was a shot to the head. And he got scared. The other clan members, their eyes, instead of looking sinister, now they're like, what's going on? And then you look at the guy and he's still scared, but is a little relief because now he knows he's not about to die. Then it pans off, shows who shot him. Then it goes back, and now the positions are switched. The clan members are now have the fear in their eyes the way my man had it at the top. It was just an amazing ride. Looking at these original pieces, I mean, reading the books is amazing, but looking at these, like butt naked, pardon the expression, that's and then there was with the Billy Graham piece against the Klan. There was a scene in there that I had never seen. Like I've read that story a million times, and I never saw the one Klan member like going back like this with the butt of the gun about to strike T'Challa. Like T'Challa was holding one person and he was about to strike him. The man grabbed his arm. Then my man was about to hit him with the butt of the gun. I didn't see all of that. I never saw that. So that was my first time seeing it. And that's what happens when you see these things up close and personal. No disrespect to the colorists. Not at all.
Right.
No disrespect to the colorists. But when you see this raw, butt naked, to the bone, right here. Yeah, that was for you, Phil. Seeing it like this is an entirely different experience than reading it in a comic.
Yeah.
You know, no disrespect to reading it in a comic, but this is an entirely different level. You see things that you haven't seen, and you see it in a different way. It's storytelling.
You know, I actually pulled my volume 1 Bitter Root trade right when I got back. And I started flipping through it right away, right? You know, I've got the images in my head of the originals. So I'm thinking about the colors right away and the wording and then the bubbles and where those are placed, because I just saw the real deal, right? To your point, man. And so, you know, not to wax too poetic, right? But this is, you know, I can make a case that we love film, we love movies, we love animation, but these are still images that still move. And for years, I've appreciated what these guys can do for us in terms of taking something on a flat piece of paper and making it move and making us feel what's happening and flipping to the next page. And this is, you know, I was definitely getting that vibe walking through the 24 pages here, the Sanford's 24 pages.
Yeah, that's just, you know, and who we had before, that was a picture of my daughter putting up the pieces. So
yeah,
you know, she went hard, man. So I had to take her to Universal Studios the next day, man. We went and we had a great time, man. She, you know, it was worth every penny, man. To be honest, we wouldn't have gotten our gallery up in time if it wasn't for her.
Yeah.
Like I said, she put up 20-something pages. She framed and put up 20-something pages. So, you know, it was real.
There they go.
There you go. Go.
Good stuff.
Go.
Hey, gentlemen and gentlewomen, I have to head out, but I wanted to jump on for a few minutes. I appreciate the time, and we'll continue talking. Kazra, Phil, it was great, and you know, yes. All right.
Thanks for coming through, Khalil.
See you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, fam. All right. Until next time.
We'll holler at you, fam. Hey, you know, since we're talking about Sanford, man, I was able to get a commission from Sanford. And it was funny because he had made a joke because I said something about, man, you know, is my John finished? He was like, man, I'm about to get it to you later or whatever. I was like, oh man, you killing me, bro. And he was like, no, I'm just playing with you, man. Come on, you know, come bring. And he's like, man, bring the cameras over. I want to see your face when you open this. So, and the reason why he said that was because I told him who my favorite, you know, hip hop artist is, you know, and he had said to me, you know, I wanted to do, you know, he said, when I was doing this, I was thinking about when Phil sees this, I want to see what his face looks like when he sees it. So you seen Sanford do hip hop, you know, you see him do the Rakim, he did the Method Man book, et cetera, et cetera. Well, my favorite artist of all time is none other than Big Daddy Kane. And Brother Sanford blessed me with the craziest Big Daddy Kane commission piece. Yeah. Here I am, R.A.W., a terrorist here to bring trouble to. Come on, man. Nice. And he got the Nefertiti drawing and everything else, and the 4-finger rings. This how you know he knows what he's doing. It's crazy, crazy. Woo! I can't. You know, this is one that I'm gonna get framed up, and you know, I might put something else beside it. I'm not sure. About to be something crazy.
You get some really dope experiences at OAX. I had this. So Otis, shout out to Otis, man. He's been a tremendous a guide in this art world for me. You know, last year, Otis put me on some game. He said, "Here's an idea for you," because I had this illustrated history of the Black Panther book. This illustrated history of the Black Panther book. He goes, "Get he pointed out all these artists that were OAX, and he goes, get every artist that's ever worked on Black Panther to sign and remark your book." So last year, I got Ken Lashley to do this picture right here. So Ken Lashley does that. Beautiful piece of art. But I'm like, you know what? Steelfreeze is here. Let me go to Steelfreeze. Mr. Steelfreeze, Ken Lashley did me the honor of putting a remark of my favorite superhero in this book. Would you do the same? He looks at Steelfreeze's work, and I kid you not, in 10 minutes, it seems, he just took, it looked like he did like 5 strokes. And then he produced this.
Ooh, that one's so crazy.
Yeah, that's that. I love that one.
That's so. I'm so. Ooh, that one. That. Ooh.
The thing that blew me away in watching him do this was how effortlessly he did it. It wasn't like something that he made it look easy, like he was doing it in his sleep. And it just, I can't even describe this. So I then go back to Lashley. I go, hey, Lashley, look what Steelfreeze did. And he goes, damn that Steelfreeze. He always got to show me up. He was pissed. He was pissed. So this year, one of my favorite heroes, Denys Cowan's there. I go, Mr. Cowan. Lashley and Steelfreeze did these 2 pieces. And I was wondering if you could remark my book too. And he goes, well, what did they do? So I show them the pieces. And he's looking at them. And he's holding the book. And he's looking. And he's like shaking his head and he's puzzled. And he's like looking for a few minutes. And he's looking. And then he shuts the book. He gets up. And then he walks over to Steelfreeze. Let me show you what he does. This is this is him looking at the book. And then he walks over to Steelfreeze. Oh, Jesus. No, I can't find the photo. Of course, this happens when I'm doing a live right now.
Oh, so they can't see. Yeah. Maybe I'll go back here. Oh, so they can't see. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah. Give a couple of pages to cool off. Yeah.
And so he's like, what am I supposed to do? Like, you already killed it. What am I supposed to do? And so he goes ahead and he does this.
The classic Cowan.
Because he was the only Black Panther artist to ever draw the Black Panther with these cat eyes. And he was the first one to give him these feline features. He was the first one. So I asked him to do that. So then I show all 3 of those photos, those pictures, to Sanford Greene. And Sanford's like, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, these goats just did all that. And he's flipping through the book. He's like, what do you want me to do? I said, well, you could do Killmonger. So he's flipping through the book. And he comes across Killmonger. And the picture he picks out, I wish I had it saved here, but the picture he picks out is the same Killmonger picture that Khalil owned. The same one Steelfreeze says inspired him to become an artist. The same one that Denys Cowan said inspired him to become an artist. He pulls out that picture and says, well, maybe I can do this version. And I said, oh, it's so funny that you said that, Sanford, because Steelfreeze and Denys Cowan said that's what inspired them to become artists. And they drew that continually. He's like, yeah, so I'm not going to do Killmonger. And I'm certainly not going to do that picture. So I got to do something else. So he decides to do Storm.
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
That was so amazing to even watch. Oh, my gosh.
Right? Angel was there.
Cool.
When he did it.
I was memorized watching him create her.
You see that splatter work that you see on the lightning? And Sanford Greene is known for doing that splatter work in all of his art. He always has those little splatters all over it. It's his version of the Kirby Crackle. We got to see him, how he does that process. He pulled out a toothbrush, dipped it in paint, and just went like this to the toothbrush over the art. And that's how he creates a splatter. I was like, that's the secret? He's like, that's the secret. That's how I do it.
Can I do something really quick? Before I went to OAX, there's a brother in, I don't know, in Stephen Harris. Y'all may be familiar with him.
Yeah.
He done some of the DMC stuff. And we were with him at what was the comics joint in Brooklyn we were at, Paul?
Bulletproof.
He's a Bulletproof. So in the spirit of OAX, before I left, I asked him about a piece of artwork that he did. Now y'all know me. Now y'all see, got my favorite MC of all time. That's how God works. Y'all see the turntables back there. That shit ain't just for decoration. I do this for real. I asked him about a piece, and I seen it. I said, man, I gotta have this. And we talked about it, and it came in today. So OAX may be over, but we're gonna bust this open live. You know what I mean? This is what we do. Don't stop. And it came early. So, almost had my address on there.
Slipping.
Well, none of y'all thieves coming up here and getting shot.
It's slipping.
It's Pittsburgh. They get shot before they even get to your house.
If they screenshot it, you'd have a knife in your hand too. I wouldn't worry about it.
There you go.
Yeah.
But anyway,
why does that look familiar? I don't say it. Don't say it.
Ooh, that was close.
The anticipation.
Oh yeah.
You're taking painfully long with this.
I mean, it's not my fault I get good shit in the mail, cuz. You know, you gotta be careful with these joints. Man, he glued this with super glue. Oh yeah, here we go. It's worth the wait, man.
You better be.
Hey man, it's this Stephen Harris, man. He's the master of what he do, fam. Oh yeah. So just to give you some context, that's right. It is 10 hours later. But guess what? Y'all watching me. I'm making 11 hours later. Y'all keep it up.
Let's see what print you
My
got.
favorite of all time. My favorite MC of all time. The Jazzy Jeff pages.
Oh,
From
wow.
the Me and My Microphone, the greatest DJ of all time. I got the splash pages. Do this shit for real. This drawing's gonna be right over here. It's gonna be framed up. The big homie Jazzy Jeff. Kane. Come on, man. Done by two masters. It gets no better than this. One of one. And another one. And you know what he said to me too? He said to me, Aaron said to me, hey man, you want me to go in there? And he said, you want me, I'm gonna go in there and finish this. I said, no, man, I want exactly how it is. I don't want you to do nothing extra to it. I want to keep this exactly how this is. First time Jazzy Jeff ever appeared in a comic book. These are the original pencils. The splash page. I own them. Hip hop and comics gets no better than that. Show me somebody else in there who got anything close to this when it comes to this DJ shit. I'll tell you nobody.
Ooh, okay.
You run into Jazzy Jeff, you need to have him sign that at the back of that.
I'll hit him up when I get off the phone. When I get off here with y'all.
That was a flex. That was a flex.
I know it was. You saw how I used that flex.
My
right?
life different. My life different.
I mean, well, since everybody else is like showing
Let's
what
go,
they
Otis.
got, can I? I got this dope commission from Sadat. I can't say his last name. Ogzen, is that how you say it, Kazra? Sadat Ogzen.
That's not how you say it, but don't ask me how he did. I don't know.
Okay, all right.
I used to know. I don't remember.
Okay, all right. Well, that he's my man. I've seen him at different, and again, relationships. I met him at OAX last year. Had a conversation inside, then we had a conversation outside. And then after the con, and it was so then this year, kicked it with him a little bit, asked him for a commission. He came with his version of Killmonger from the Sal Voluto and Bob Ahman run. This is one of my favorite versions of Killmonger. You know, and this is the version who became the Black Panther, who beat him and became the Black Panther.
Right.
So this right here, you know, and this, what was dope was I was so blown away when he gave it to me. And I was like, yo, man, this is amazing. And he said, and it's for an amazing collector. It's for an amazing person. And that it's like it's stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's relationships, like I said. You know, relationships. So this is one of them. This right here is beautiful. Huge Killmonger fan. I like to get different versions of him over the years. And this is a great addition to my collection. This one, I didn't get a commission, but I bought it from Dutilio Art Collective. My man Matt, he had bought it with him. And when I was going through the book, I was like, whoa. We gonna put soul on this one right here because we not. This one is mine, and it happened to be.
That's fine.
That's
Herman Peralta.
Wow.
Yes. And, I want to say last year or maybe a year and a half ago. And I was like, I gotta have it. I gotta have it. So that right there, that right there.
You know, that's my guy right there, Peralta.
So for those who don't know, Herman Peralta was the artist on Volume 8 of Black Panther. Yes, Volume 7 or 8.
Mm-hmm.
It was like
he also did the King in Black.
7. He also did King in Black, which if you've watched this channel and heard me talk about Panther, you know that's my favorite Black Panther one-shot of all time. I consider that the greatest Black Panther one-shot of all time. Shout out to Jeffrey Thorne, who I think was in the chat, who's the writer of that. Herman Peralta was the artist. He was also the artist on the John Ridley run, which, you know, we had a conversation about that because I told him, look, I hated that run. But I hated that run because of the story. Your artwork was absolutely fantastic. And then we had a conversation about it. He's like, well, you know, he doesn't speak much English. He's from Argentina. He goes, I hear that all the time. What is it that you didn't like? So, of course, I spent the next 15 minutes going issue by issue, page by page, storyline by storyline as to why it categorically and objectively was a bad run. But I pointed out that his artwork was absolutely fantastic. And he went ahead and he did. I said, look, I've got this book, right? And so I said, I'd be honored if you did a remark. And he did one for me as well. And I showed him I showed him all the other artists. And he's like, well, that's a lot of pressure, or however he phrased it. And he stepped up. This young kid, in comparison to these goats, this is what he did.
Fire.
He's nice.
Amazing.
Fire.
Oh, wow.
He's amazing.
Fire.
But you know, Peralta is part of the reason why we started Collections in Black in the first place. You know, and you know, this particular piece right here was my first piece, and it's a Peralta piece. And this was the piece that made me just keep going and doing this in the first place. You know, this is Peralta's first appearance to the Buffalo Soldier with the Black Panther, and this was like I said, this was the piece that reminds me of my childhood and my dad. And so, you know, Peralta is stamped in my book. You know, this is one of those joints that is super crazy.
Yeah, yeah, super dope.
Show
Man.
Seriously, show him at work.
And he's such a nice guy too.
For sure.
Yeah,
Very
very
nice
sweet.
Yeah.
Very, very nice guy. Brilliant artist.
One
last thing. One of the other things that Herman Peralta is famous for was creating the character Tosin Aduye in that Black Panther run. And I pointed out, I was like, I did this video like a couple years ago when your Tosin came out. And I looked at the Black Panther movie and I saw this dude over here on the right side of the screen. And he had never heard this before. I said, look, same orange tunic, the same hair, the same locks, the same tattoos on the arm. I was like, is this what inspired you to create Tosin? He's like, no, I don't even recall ever seeing that guy before. And he completely denies. Says, Tosin was a completely original character. In fact, he was supposed to be purple and the editors made him change it to orange. So it was just completely coincidental. But yeah, so that clears up the mystery of where Tosin Aduye comes from.
Paul, I mean, Otis, do you still got you got your you won that really dope piece in the auction? You got it with you?
Oh, you know, that was next. I was letting y'all do your
let's see it, man.
thing, and then
We almost spent that piece was hard.
Can I do it my way? We
wait on you. Let's go ahead and do it, cuz.
Okay, all right. So as we were talking about different experiences, what OAX does, and how you have so many different ways to collect and things to do. Now, I am not a bidder. eBay or one of those other things, I'm hitting buy now. I'll filter out. I'm not auctioning nothing. I'm not bidding. I just want it. I'm not trying to fight nobody for it. This is what I do. So the auction part, I've heard of them. I've seen them on TV. We went to last year, and that was an amazing time. You know, we talked about that, and you know that's in your Collections in Black joint. Like that was my first time experiencing a live auction, and it was great. You know, because I've always seen them on TV with the paddles, and they put them up, and I got mine right next to me. 365 was my number, and so this year. I look at my wife and I said, I want to participate this year. I want to try something new. And I'm not gonna front. I was scared. I have no problem admitting that because it's like I knew what I was doing, but I didn't know what I was doing. But I gotta tell you, seeing my bro, seeing my man 50 grand, DeTulio, up there along with Tatiana, uh, uh, it gave me the courage. It gave me the courage. And I said, okay. I said, hey, babe, I think I'm gonna go for something. She's like, yeah, definitely go for something. And we eyeing pieces, and then this one just popped up on the screen. And Catherine, I don't know if you can help me out with this one. I was so excited when I saw the piece. I didn't hear who it was by. I didn't hear where it was from. All I know is I saw this image and I was like, that's it. That's the one. And I looked at my wife and she was like, yeah. And the bidding started and I did that like that, man pointed at me and I was like, oh, okay, I'm in. Put it down. Somebody else bid. And I'm like, all right, okay. And I looked and said, yeah, go ahead. And a little higher. And when I did it, I stood up a little bit. And I was like, whoa, what's going on here? And then somebody, back and forth. And then I stood all the way up and did it again. And then one more bid went in, and it was a little more than I was trying to spend. And this was one of those moments attached to the moment. Matt said a price, said the number, and I was like, And I look over to my right, and Simone DeMille, another one of my bros, looks at me and does this. Otis. And I said, yeah. And I said, 425. And I stood up. Jumped up with my thing. And then he's like, 425 going once, going twice, sold. It was one of the best feelings I've ever had in my entire life. It was amazing. I was standing up, and I had to sit down and ask my wife. I was like, did I get out of character? Or did I embarrass you? And she was like, no, you were excited. Don't worry about it. I was so happy. I was so happy to win it, so happy to have that experience. It was so cool. Like I said, I was so excited and so drawn to the piece. I didn't hear who it was from, who made it, or where it was from. I just wanted to have it. So here it is. I can't give you a description, but when I saw it, I had to
Oh, that's right. Oh, that was beautiful.
It's from Jonathan Wayshak.
Jonathan Wayshak.
Yeah, and it's a book he did. It's a book he did that this channel knows well. I believe it's a book he did with Rodney Barnes.
Really?
Oh, with the aliens.
Normandy one, yeah.
Normandy.
Florence and Normandy.
Thank you.
Florence and Normandy.
All right. Well, hey, now I know where I'm going tomorrow. I'm trying to find this. But when I saw this, and here's the other part. Another moments thing. Collecting something new. I don't own anything other than superhero art. Like just straight, capes and cowls type of superhero stuff. This is like the first quote unquote just like humans type of deal. And so it's like outside of what I normally collect. But when I saw it, I could not have it. And it was cool, you know what I'm saying? Like people clapped for me, and I even I think I apologized. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm excited. This is my first time, you know what I'm saying? So it was pretty cool. And this is how dope. Shout out to my wife because she's in the living room while I'm doing this, and she heard you guys, and she just sent me text messages of the book. She already has it on Amazon, and she ordered it for me. So that's what's up. Thank you, honey. Love you. So that's what I'm saying. But this right here, I had to have it. This is beautiful. Absolutely, absolutely beautiful.
You have good instinct and taste, Otis. That's an artist type of piece. It's a character design, and they liked it so much they did publish it in the graphic novel in the collected edition.
It is in the book. It is in the book. I have the book.
That's even better. That's even better. That's dope. So again, like
super dope piece.
That's what OAX is about. It's about loving what you going there, seeing what you love, new experiences. Because now, like I told him, I was like, I it's a cool because it gave me a cool feeling. After I won, I literally had goosebumps. And I like the feeling. So now I might be in trouble, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to auctions and bidding and stuff, because I liked that whole thing. And shout out to you, Kazra, you and Bill, when y'all was going back and forth, that was amazing. That whole situation was I hope that's recorded and shown at some time, because that was really, really cool. That's what I'm saying. Like, it was just like the whole situation, you guys, Tatiana, my man Matt up there doing his thing. When you didn't have slides for, I think it was the last like 5 or 6 slots.
Yeah.
Bill went up there and he's putting up the things. So it's like team effort. Everybody, like people walking up to check out everything out. It was like it was dope, man. It was just a dope experience.
The craziest thing was it was a bar with 4 bartenders, and for the 2 hours there was no line at any of the bars. There was 400 and 500 people in the room, and no one was getting a drink. I guess they enjoyed the auction. Yeah.
Locked in.
I thought I was in
and
a
speak
Twilight Zone. Oh no, I thought I was in a Twilight Zone episode.
And speaking of like what going back to earlier, Phil talking about like money being spent there. Okay, like I am not one to count anybody's pockets. You know what I'm saying? My father went to give me $5, $10, $10, 5 for me, 5 for my brother. And I remember as a child looking at him when he opened up his wallet, and he kept it open, and he looked at me and said, "Hey," I said, "What?" He said, "Don't you ever look at another man while he's counting his money. Look away." And I was like, all right. And from that point on, I don't do that. Somebody take their money out of their pocket, I look the other way. It's not my business what they have. But on the other side of that, what we were talking about earlier, how Phil was talking about people spending. There was someone that was like in front of us, and we were cheering for this woman. She was, I don't know who she was, but she was getting some pieces. And my wife like nudged me. She was like, you know, I think she almost spent about 20K.
17.
Was that the younger woman? The younger woman?
17?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And I was like, my goodness.
She's
so
great.
It's like and she was like, it was so cool. And then her and they were having a conversation with her afterwards. And she was so nice and sweet, and it's
She's
like,
sweetheart.
Yeah. It was really cool. So that's what I'm saying. Like when you go here, you don't have to bring 20K or 17K. You know, there are pieces there were pieces at the auction that went for $125. You know, so there's room for everyone. You can pick up your in the commissions and everything that was going on inside. Like, this is not, you can spend what you want to spend.
Yeah.
But the thing is, there's something for everybody. For everybody there. Sunday was the free sketches from 2 to 3:30. That was a beautiful thing too. I missed out on that last year because I didn't even know that it was going on. That was another beautiful thing that was offered by OAX from 2 to 3:30. Artists that were listed, and there was a red dot by their name. Those are the people that were participating in the free sketches. And you go up to them, you get free sketches or signatures, whatever you want. Like, it's something for everybody. Definitely something for everybody. Like, I'm telling you, OAX it's what it is. It's what it is. A last thing, I got one more thing to show. And then I'm done with what I have. I had a character design from Denys Cowan from that Black Panther run that he did in the 80s. I got a character design for one of the Supremacists. And I show it to him because I got Sam De La Rosa to sign it last year. And Denys Cowan got to sign it this year. And when I put this in front of him,
wow,
he was like, I have not seen this in forever. I'm a big character design guy. Because it kind of goes back to the Marvel handbooks where like you get the side profile, the back, the front, like that's what it reminds me of. So I love buying character design. So thank you, Casper, for letting me know that one that I got was an actual character design. So that makes it even more incredible. But I give this to Mr. Cowan to sign, and I have a picture. I like to take pictures of the artists when they're signing them, and I put this in front of him, and I just like I took a couple pictures while he was staring at it, and I got a picture of him like his head is down like this, and the bill of the hat is like this, but you see him smiling, and it's a genuine smile. And he's like, wow, I haven't seen this. And I asked him a few questions about it, and he told me some stuff about it. Like, and he let us, and Angel was there, and he
Yes,
told
I
me a
was.
story about what went down with that book, that it wasn't supposed to be. It's like I want to tell the story. I do. I want to tell the story, but I'm not sure if, and this just goes back to those relationship things. I'm
That's
not
right.
sure if he told me that story because he was telling me that story, or if he was telling me that story so I could tell the world. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep that to myself for now. No disrespect to anybody else. But the next time I see him, if I ask him if I can share that, then I will. But I want to be respectful of him, because I don't know if he just said that because we were rapping and we had a conversation, or if that was something that he didn't mind going out to the world. So that's it. But this right here, like, I love this piece. I absolutely love this piece. And now that I have him and the inker signed, now it's complete. Now I can put it away. All right. So now I'm done.
Thank you for that story. That was awesome.
I want to say something about what Otis mentioned. There are different, because people are asking questions about how much money I should bring to OAX, and Otis mentioned, you can spend what you want to spend. There are different levels. I mean, there are some people that dropped, $50,000. We saw people drop money on.
Yep.
But you can spend as little as $50 to get a remark or something. And then it was cool that Casper and Bill had this hour and a half period of time where you can get free sketches. I mean, here's a piece I got with his brother Aranga, real cool dude from Sri Lanka that we got to hang out with the night before. Shout out to Aranga. And I had actually walked by his table, said, man, I'm going to come back and get some art. And I came back like 3 hours later. He's like, dude, where have you been? I've been waiting for you. I felt so bad because I was out filming stuff. And he's like, all right. I was like, oh, what do you have time? He's like, I have a little bit of time. I'll make some time. And he pulled that out, and he made this piece for me. Let me show you let me get a close up here. He pulled out and he just drew this for me in like 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes, just less than 10 minutes. And he drew this beautiful picture of Storm. And this was part of the free sketches. Just a remark. So you can get great original art at normally they would probably charge about $50 to $100 for something like this. But you can get great original art at very reasonable rates at OAX as well. I mean, it's for everybody. You don't have to be the guy who drops, a car payment, a whole, house of a payment for a car on a piece of art. You spend what you want, or just go.
And I'm sorry for cutting you off, but here's something. And I've said this several times over the years. There are people, and this is, again, no disrespect. Everybody spends the way they want to spend, but some people like, original art, that's a little bit too much for me. I don't want to hear that if you are spending $600 on a 9.8 slab. Okay? Like, if you can buy a slab comic book for $300, $400, or something like that, you can get you original art. Like, it's so that's what I'm saying.
Right.
It's not, there's room for everyone, and that's what I love about this part of the hobby. It's a different world. It's an entirely different world, but it's a beautiful world. You know how much stuff I learned this weekend watching Bianchi paint, watching DeMio do his thing. I had a conversation with Julie. Oh my goodness, with Julie Bell. Like, I know her work. I've never met her. It's like she's an OG fantasy artist. Her paintings David Palumbo is her son. And they were in the card art area. And her paintings, I walked up, I was helping bring boxes in, and I just stopped. I just literally stopped. After I put the box down, I'm staring at this. And this person was standing here, and they're talking to her about something. And out of my peripheral, I see her, and she walks up. She's like, "Hi, how you doing?" I'll say, "Hi, how you doing?" And she said, can I ask you what you're thinking?" And she said, "If you don't want to tell me, you're not." She's like, I mean, the energy from this woman was amazing. It was amazing. And she said, "Can I ask you what you're thinking? If you don't want to tell me, it's okay." And I said, "No, no, no, no. I just And she said, "Because your face, I really want to know what you're thinking." And I said, "Well, I look at this and it looks like I can put my hand into the painting. This looks to me like these frames are a portal to that world." That's how real her work was. That's how it made me feel. I mean, absolutely breathtaking. And she said to me, like, there's this one particular piece that I really loved. There's two lions, but they were female. They were lion bodies. They had breasts, but they had female faces, and they had lion manes. There was two of them. They were like leaning up against each other, little forest type of scene, and the detail and the expression, like they looked real. And she said to me, she said, like that one right there. That to me is like we're capturing a moment. So they're not here for us. We just happen to be walking by, and they're just doing their thing where they are, and we just happen to see them. Like it, and when you look at this piece, I'm telling you, it was absolutely hypnotizing. But again, seeing that work up close and personal, seeing her son's work up close and personal, like I'm going to buy paint tomorrow. I'm going to get a whole brand new set of acrylics and gouache. I learned about that. See what I'm saying? I learned gouache paint, I canvases, new paintbrushes. I'm asking all types of questions. It's a educational like experience. There's so much to this. And again, I'm very passionate about this stuff. And this is it. OAX is it. Really. So that's it. That's it. That's it.
Well, on that note, thank you all for spending your time and sharing your experiences and your thoughts and your love for what we experienced this past weekend at OAX.
Brother Paul, before you go,
yeah.
let me say this real quick. If nothing else, what you want to get out of OAX, you'll get out of OAX. And it's something that you have to experience for yourself. Everything Otis has said, Paul has said, Angel has said, and I've said is true. And the experiences may be, and shout out to Kazra and the whole comic art fans. Everybody, we've all had the same sentiments and some things that are different. But the one thing that I want to say is I want to thank Kazra for giving me the opportunity for bringing collections in Black there and being a co-curator in the project. I really appreciate it. Appreciate all of the dealers and artists who were allowed me to use their artwork. And I also want to shout out the many collectors who came up afterwards offering me pieces while we're literally there. There were people saying, "Hey, I got this Kirby, I got this, man. Can I put this up?" I said, "No, let's haul at you later." I had a guy come up to me with some Billy Graham pages that I'd never seen before from Eclipse Comics. And he was like, "Man, can you use this in your exhibit?" I said, "I can, but I'd rather buy them off of you." So I bought them off the brother, and I got these two joints and from the GOAT, Billy Graham. And he's going to send me the rest of the pages later. But the thing that I thought that was super dope, and I'm done with this, there was a older white gentleman who came up to me and said, "I missed Collections in Black in Pittsburgh." So I had to make my way to OAX to come see it. And that, you know, that let me know that, you know, what we're doing for the culture is super important. And, you know, Otis could tell the story because after he told me that, Otis reiterated that because I guess Otis you had seen him earlier or something of that particular nature when we were eating breakfast or whatever.
Yeah. He stopped. He stopped me and he was like, "Is that Big Phil? Like you were a superstar or something?" And he was
Don't do
like,
that.
he said, "Is that Big Phil?" And I was like, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, that's Big Phil." He's like, "Oh yeah, the collection's in black." He's like, "Me and my wife, we wanted to see it, but we missed it. And we were real upset that we missed it. But then we found out something else was going here, and he was going to be here. And we was hoping he was going to be here along with it. So I really want to meet him, and I want to thank him for putting something like that together." And he was just big enough Phil. And I told him, I said, "When you find him," I said, "find him." I said, "If I see you, I will bring you to him." I said, "Because I want you to tell him what you just said to me, because I know that'll mean a lot to him. I know he will feel it because he put his heart and soul into this." And he was like, "It's obvious." So he said, "I was very upset that I missed it, but I made sure that I was coming to see this one." So yeah.
In my last piece, shout out to Paul for making his way up to Pittsburgh to see it. Shout out to Kazra. Shout out to Otis, who drove through a blizzard to come check it out before it closed. I love all of y'all for that. So Paul, apologize for interrupting, but I just want to give everybody their props.
No, I was gonna pass you to Mike, man, and have you do our outro. You did a great job. Thank you.
Oh, he was gonna take it anyway. So
I was gonna do his intro, but you know, he just did it himself. That's cool. Kazra, thank you for joining us. Thank you for putting OAX together. Thank you for inviting us in. Appreciate you, man.
The same. Thank you, Paul. And we didn't get to spend time, so you're here in Orlando. Please, can we please meet up? I've never been on a show before where I owed someone money, so I got to take care of that too.
I wasn't even gonna mention that. But yeah, I need my money. I need my money.
That's right. Yeah. And
all right,
Otis,
yeah,
I just sent to Tulio a text, Otis, to pass on to you. Big Phil, I'll talk to you, I'm sure, tomorrow, right? And
sure.
Angel, I spent the last 2 hours thinking about what you started off with, Angel, about what it was like to be a woman walking through OAX. That has been on my mind for the last 2 hours. And that was something I came out of the first show thinking about a lot, because there's no answer. So maybe we can meet up and talk too.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank
you. I hope next year, Kazra, you can have Aletha Martinez on. We did a show with her. What a lot of people don't realize is she is the first Black woman artist at both Marvel and DC.
Mm-hmm.
The very first. So I think she'd be a perfect person to have at OAX. But yeah, it was quite an experience, man. You really, as Phil said, you can't really describe what it is. You kind of have to experience it, and our words don't do it justice. But as you can see, we're all very passionate about it. Tremendous experience. I encourage everybody to go next year. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for your time. Black Comic Lords, we got you.